I truly believe in one of the Andrew quote which says that AI is the new electricity. Like how electricity has revolutionized 100 years ago, AI will also transform every industry in the coming decade. If the company is not having a focus on big data analytics, then they might be lose the battle to make analytics a success. Data democratization is one thing which will keep on flourishing a lot.
Hi, welcome to a brand new episode of MobileAppDaily Tech Series. Joining us today is Yashu Gupta, who is currently the head of analytics and data science at Times Internet. In today's episode, Mr. Gupta reveals why data is the new oil, how AI is changing the day-to-day company operations, and what skills do techies need to survive through the AI age that's about to come. Mr. Yashkant, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for giving me this opportunity. I'll try to demystify few things about analytics.
And on popular request, I had a question. Can AI be a threat to humanity in the near or distant future?
Okay, so I'll start by saying in our school days we all used to have an sort of essay on science, whether science is a blessing or curse. So of course we'll see both sides of AI as well. But in my opinion, by honest opinion, I truly believe that it's not at all a threat to humans. It will definitely change the way things are getting done currently. I truly believe in one of the Andrew quote which says that AI is the new electricity. Like how electricity has revolutionized 100 years ago, AI will also transform every industry in the coming decade. But it's not threat at all to humans. That's what I can say.
Great answer. That's interesting. Now, terms such as big data, machine learning, and AI are often used interchangeably in the conversations around AI systems these days. Could you simplify these terminologies for our audience and explain how these three are connected with one another?
Yeah, I guess these terms are these days very. Sometimes people get confused. What we should call as ML, what we should call it AI. So I'll just start with the very simplest form how we can perceive AI as. It can be seen as a specialized field which combines computer science and data sets towards any kind of problem solving. It can be also seen as a simulation of human intelligence processed by computer science. Now AI, so machine learning is actually a subset of an AI. You can see it as a subset of AI wherein model get trained on historical data, which actually help like machines to make better predictions, very much like humans. In machine learning, you can see this area divided into broader two categories. One is broadly the supervised and learning, and second is unsupervised learning. In supervised, we generally use like historical data, trained data to predict any predefined outcome based on a lot of independent factors. Whereas in unsupervised learning, hidden patterns are uncovered to understand the segments that exist in that data set. Now, once AI ML is largely there, I tried to explain that. But the backbone of this AI and ML is actually the big data. Just to understand this in a very generic term, around a couple of years back, people start defining big data as any sort of data which has broadly three V characteristics, which are largely high volume, velocity, and variety. If any data set is having all these three characteristics, we generally call it as a big data. In the digital era, we have huge, humongous volume of data and all. So the big data is largely the data which is huge in volume, velocity, and velocity as in the speed at which the data is coming in. Like on a real-time basis, we connected across various digital assets and all through which we get huge data. It's in I talk about it's in TBs, terabytes and petabytes these days. So big data is all about having all these characteristics. It also contains both structured and as well as unstructured data sets. So that's how you can see these three terminology.
That was very helpful. So how do you approach explaining these terminologies in terms of when you're in discussion with business stakeholders who are not from a tech background?
Understood. Yeah. So most business users are actually not keen in knowing the detailed technicalities around the data insights. Like I can give you an example. Like long time ago, I built one advanced statistical model around the fraud monitoring model, and when I try for one of the health insurance company, but when I was in the boardroom and I was trying to explain the complex equations to the business stakeholder, like. I found it difficult because the end consumer were not; those people were not tech savvy, and they were finding it very difficult to follow. So to overcome that problem, I translated the findings as a layman for them, like showcasing the simple trends of highlighting the reasoning behind the same, like why the trend is going up and down. And then once people start relating it, then they get interested, they ask right set of questions. So once we generate complex data insight, I would say we must simplify it for the end stakeholders so that they can accept or appreciate or make the right set of inputs to make it more actionable. Because at the end of the day, analytics outcomes should be able to make an impact and improve the set KPIs for the organization. That's the, I guess, we should focus on.
Interesting. So could you elaborate a little bit on how exactly data is the new oil?
Yeah, so every industry is sort of collecting tons of data, right? So directly or indirectly, now the companies have started realizing seeing data as an asset for them. At some point in time, there were a lot of companies who were storing data, but they were not utilizing it. They were not even not sure how to use that. Now the awareness around the AI analytics comes in, which really help them to take more informed decisions, and that's why companies have started investing in sort of analytics center of excellence as a key vertical for an organization. So I would say in today's world, every organization, like I said earlier, is sitting on a tons of data, right? So, but the most important is that companies are starting seeing this data as an asset for them to utilize it for various purposes, and that's where the big data analytics will. I personally see it as one of the key cornerstones around making the analytics as a success in a company. If the company is not having a focus on big data analytics, then they might be lose the battle to make analytics as a success. Every company keep on working on various use cases which can be solved through mix of both big data and big data and machine learning, and that's where these models and everything play a significant role in automating a lot of their intelligent and repeatable tasks, which can otherwise lower the overall efficiency of an organization. So I would say that every organization have a lot of bunch of use cases. It's all about awareness and just set up a team and some focus around that, and eventually company will start seeing the value out of it.
Also, given the growing demands for data analytics, what skills do you think are a must-have in the coming years for aspiring data analysts and people working in the AI sector?
Yeah, so I would say for any data analytics expert, the technical skills these days, which are of very high demand, I would say includes, of course, SQL, structured query language, which is anyway the key skill, I would say, followed by the data management skill, data visualization skills, and of course, to be a data analytics expert, you should be statistically savvy, econometrics. I guess these are the key technical core skills. But one of the two most underrated skills, I would say, is the critical thinking and the business acumen, which people generally don't. I see as a young generation who is aspirant into the data analytics side, they focus on SQL, they focus on data management, but they don't focus on the sort of critical thinking and business acumen. And that's where the key difference if you really want to make an analytics expert as a successful career.
Great answer. So how do you think AI and analytics as well as machine learning systems are likely to change business operations in the next, let's say, 5 years?
Okay, I would like to highlight 5 key areas where the analytics field will flourish, which will include, of course, analytics and artificial intelligence, data democratization is one thing which will keep on flourishing a lot. Augmented analytics, data as a service, and data governance are the area where the sort of I see analytics evolving in the coming 5 years. For businesses to stay ahead, I would strongly recommend that, like I said earlier, they must heavily invest on analytics as a center of excellence, which primary focus should be to solve for various data silos which exist in a sort of company and try to create a one data platform, which we generally call as having all kind of data at one place, and respective business KPIs are enabled on top of it. This will, at the end of the day, will eventually lead to this data democratization. And once the one data platform is achieved, companies should start focusing on augmented analytics, like wherein their machine learning models, the data must be processed and generate insights automatically, and which can be directly consumed by the various business stakeholders. Like once data is there, then there is no data ambiguity in there. Like everyone is following the one set of data. Now serving the business stakeholders on top of it, this will help business users to understand their context, ask the relevant questions, and uncover insights more quickly and aligned. That's how I would say.
Wow. So, how do you go about creating an analytics excellence center? What does it entail? The capabilities, the workforce, the roles?
Yeah. So it's, I would say it's a team of bunch of people having different set of skill sets. So this whole analytics center of excellence have people from data analyst background, business analyst background, even the storyteller. That's also a big skill that we these days people are like we are hiring storytellers, especially in our analytics center of excellence, because at the end of the day, whatever effort being put in the back of the creating the model, if we are not able to translate it well, then like 50 like then the success can't come. So storytelling is there, of course, statistical modelers, data scientists. So there are different titles. In fact, I also wear all these caps in my whole like 2 decades. I started my career through data analyst, then moved to business analyst, wherein I started using advanced dashboarding tools, then moved to statistical modeling, wherein started with logistic regression to neural networks, and then moved to this BigQuery platform and all, wherein we are utilizing all the AI models and then deploying those on the production. So one analytics center of excellence having 6-7 different kind of skills is what I am largely saying, and people from different backgrounds all are joining in. Like it's not just a team of computer engineers. Like I said, it's there are also designers also. By the way, because at the end of the day, like I said. Creative CTR, right? So analytics at some point in time it gives some signals. Now the creative team help to make it more effective, right? So but analytics help them to augment the productivity of them, right? So that's how we can see this as a center of excellence. For in some companies it could be just starting point, then it could be just business analyst and data analyst. There is a data engineering team who is establishing the whole layers of data. So like that I will cover. Yeah.
Speaking of data democratization, what is the underlying cost that's being paid by me or any other user for using these free AI tools and services?
Okay, so I would say like yeah. So whenever user is interacting in digital platform, it is giving a lot of its own data, right? It is giving a lot of signals about what he is doing on our. So for just to give you the sense around the Times internet, right? It's so we have a news platform wherein everyday user comes in, read different kind of news articles across genres and all. So like we have around 600 million odd monthly active users who comes on our platform, but every user is having different behaviors, right? Different patterns, different tastes. Basis that of course the platform is free, but they are giving us a lot of information about what a particular different set of users are interested in seeing, and this is helpful for us to sort of segment the data, and basis that our major revenue is coming from the advertisers. So while selling our offerings to the advertisers are keen to know, okay, you are saying that you have 600 million odd users on your platform, but for my product, who are the top prospects? So to serve them that way, we collect huge behaviors, huge data around the users, which help them to sort of pitch the right sort of offering to the right sort of people.
Wow, interesting. So can you walk me through what does it involve in the process of obtaining consent from users when it comes to our data?
Yeah, sure. So Data privacy and ethics are basically, of course, the crucial aspects of building and maintaining customer relationship, especially in the digital sort of age. So to obtain the consent from the user, there are few things that every organization keeps in mind, and that's how we also follow that. First of all, understand the legal framework depending upon the geographies in which you are operating. For example, from which different geographies your customer belongs to, any respective regulations that are available on that particular market, we should be adhere to that particular regulations. Once that is there, like GDPR, CCPA, those kind of regulations are there, right? So we have users coming from your like European countries also visiting our platform, so we need to be GDPR compliant that ways. So all that understanding the legal framework is one of the key aspect. Another thing to get the consent is the communicate. You can say the communicating very clearly and honestly, like what to collect, why to collect, and how to use it, and sort of whom you share it with. Let's be very transparent to that, so that users are anyway, like like I said, trust is the key, right? So once user is very clear, higher understanding of what is being collected for why, what purpose, then they respect that. And of course, like respect customer preferences and expectation. If someone is not interested in sharing, so completely that kind of respect should be there, those processes in place. And last but not the least, to accomplish that, the security and the accountability needs to be enabled at a very grained level, so that again the customer trust depends upon that. So they should, whatever consent the customer is giving, follow that diligently and make sure that things get are to the right set of expectation.
And in your expert opinion, how do you strike a balance between experimentation versus ethical responsibility for a business when it comes to AI and analytics?
Yeah, so I would start saying that, see, trust is one of the most important factor in any sort of relationship, I would say, right? So likewise, analytics can flourish in any organization if mutual trust exists between all the stakeholders. So companies, to achieve that, I guess ethical and transparent AI is necessary, right? To make the AI trustworthy. It can be started, how can we achieve this? Probably it can be started by increasing AI awareness, clear communication. Every AI algorithm we should try to demystify must be explainable in terms as a layman, like how AI making decisions. People, any doubt in any stakeholder, we should clearly highlight how AI making all those decisions. But last, not the least, I would say, the follow the rules and regulations that are applicable for any particular organization, because that's paramount of all this, I would say.
Could you walk me through how exactly does an AI system, let's say ChatGPT, approaches the process of decision making?
Okay. See, at the end of the day, um, in the digital era, we have huge data, right? Like data is coming up now. Converting the data into signals, or you can say the information, there are tons of variables that we can be created through the those data sets. So once the things are there, then there are statistical techniques are available to correlate things. And that's where, like for example, in our brain, how our brain works, there is a neural net, neurons that exist in our brains, right? So the neural network is all the same kind of terminology being used in the data analytics, which use the same kind of processing around neurons and data signals, and basis that, the outcomes comes in. And you can clearly see that, if let's say, you can also see the accuracy and the prediction of the model by stating, for example, what AI model is saying versus what human intelligence is there. And that's where the accuracy and prediction comes in. And you can see that it totally depends upon how big data you are infusing, how big signals you are infusing, and how the best model things you are using it. So like in the chat GPT and all, like, those are also based on all these, like, the huge data get feed into these systems. And now the tech cost and processing cost is very cheaper. The models get trained on the huge data set, and then that, due to which these chat GPT things are capable of answering anything intelligently, whatever you are asking, right? So,
Yeah, sounds about right. So you know how AI replacing human jobs has been one of the trendiest topics on the internet at the moment. I was wondering, as an expert, what's your opinion on which sectors are most likely to take the hit in the coming years when it comes to AI replacing human jobs?
So I would say jobs that include intelligent and repetitive tasks will likely to be replaced as AI will be able to do it more smartly and efficiently. For example, just to give you a sense, like customer service can be majorly improved with the use of AI, and it applies across industries. We will see a lot of AI involvement across various sectors. For example, in media companies, we will see use it for advertising, content creation, and technical writing. For example, all that kind of use cases are there applicable for media company. For the legal industry, you can see that there are legal assistants that are coming up who are actually helping the lawyers and thing to even the customers to sort of fast track their cases, even prioritizing what to focus on, what to not focus on. But at the end of the day, I would say like AI won't be fully able to automate these jobs because it requires a fair degree of sort of human touch also, like human judgment to understand what a client wants. But it definitely the productivity level of the people will increase tangentially. That's what I think. Sort of say.
Also, I was curious, as an AI expert, what's your view on how AI will be reshaping the society, and will that change be somewhat similar to what's been projected in the web series and movies that we see? How close or far off is that from the actual reality?
Uh, 50 years down the line, I'm not sure how it will change. But in the I would say from in next decade, it is more being utilized as a strengthening tool or sort of strength for different kind of vertical. Like I said, AI is the new electricity. Probably like people were living before the electricity era also, but now the electricity has changed everything. Like in next 5 to 10 years, definitely the kind of workforces, the kind of verticals across the companies might reshape across industries. There might be different set of you can say the roles, the profiles, because for example, like AI will take the sort of jobs which related to the repetitive tasks or something like that. The people will be more prone to do upskilling and reskilling, right? So different titles will come. For example, one calculator sort of got invented at one point in time. People started saying that I read this somewhere that long time ago when calculator comes in, mathematicians, people started saying what the role of mathematicians then. So, but then people started realizing that it augments things, not it replace anyone. So, idea is to sort of it's basically help the whole ecosystem to go up, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I see.
Do you have any particular tools that you would recommend advertisers in terms of enhancing their creative capabilities?
I would say like these days, like OpenAI is everything is like open source, right? So we should have a right set of infra in place. That's what I would say. Whether you use AWS, GCP, but you should have a right set of infra and right set of capabilities is there. Then of course any language, the open source libraries are there. One can just create a complete data science lab. We also have I established a data science lab at TIL wherein the data scientists can just so the tools that I would say Jupyter Notebook is anyway there, like which people generally use it to create any kind of models stuff things. And these days we are also utilizing BigQuery, Google GCP BigQuery a lot for one is of course for data processing, data aggregation, and but on top of it, BigQuery, this is a Google product which comes in a lot of new advancements, and Google has unleashed their whole AI models capabilities to use it. Of course, it's on paid basis, but it generates huge value to us. So I would every company can have a different path. I won't say that you take only this path, depending upon the company's size, company's data volumes, the kind of focus that company wants to put in. But like I said, analytics center of excellence must be there in any organization. Maybe any organization, it could be at a starting level, some organization could be a maturity level. But if the CEO, CXOs are not focusing on that, then they 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, their competitor might have a better advantage on a lot of use cases.
Lastly, when it comes to AI and analytics, what are you most excited about? Which trends are you most looking forward to?
Like I said, as an analytics leader in the company, I focused on solving various business use cases which are relevant for company, which can help company generate more revenues, right? Basis that, and lot of advancements is anyway happening. So to translate those use cases into AI-driven projects is what I'm more focused on. So, for example, just to give you the very simple example, in the advertising world, the advertisers, the key KPI, the advertiser focus in the CTR. CTR is the click-through rate, for example, right? So any advertisement comes in, what's the CTR you are giving me, right? So of course, one is depending upon the lot of factors related to advertiser, brand, the position of the it get written. Those are factors anyway there which we cater to in our pricing model and everything. But on top of it, whether a creative in itself, what are the signals, right? What is the color of the creative? What's the content being written on the creative? So all these advancements will help to do augment the capabilities of CTR, right? Or like which creative works. Can we create a new creative for an advertiser? For example, has given us a brief and give us just one sample creative. Instead of running one creative, can we run 10 different creatives and then A/B test those? So all those kind of like I can keep on talking to different use cases, but this is one of the use cases that helped us to sort of using the AI and advanced techniques, the image processing capabilities and all, we're able to achieve those kind of things.
That brings us to the end of the segment, but I think it was an extremely important conversation that we needed to have for not just entrepreneurs that are looking to integrate AI into their businesses, but also for the general workforce in the tech and the digital industry that are looking to upskill now with the advent of AI. Thank you so much again for giving us your time, and I wish you all the very best.